Hello and welcome. My name is David Leach and I'm here today with Bryan Martin, Chairman and Chief Technology Officer of 8x8 Incorporated. Bryan, welcome.
Thank you, David.
Take a moment and tell me about yourself and your history with the net neutrality debate.
So I've been involved with 8x8 Incorporated quite a long time. 8x8 is a publicly traded service provider. We provide cloud-based business communication solutions. I helped lead the company into its service provider model back in 2002, and before that was an early developer of these technologies before the internet even existed in the form it does today. So I've been involved with these FCC net neutrality debates since the very beginning, back in the Wild West days.
From your point of view, what are the primary issues with the proposed FCC net neutrality rules?
I'm primarily concerned with two issues in this rulemaking proceeding. One is the internet at large today is boundless. It has unlimited potential, all because we haven't put any regulatory constraints on it to date. And so I think that's something we should be very concerned with. The second thing is we see the Commission and to a certain extent even the press just focused on how these issues affect consumers without understanding how they're going to affect the small to medium-sized businesses that 8x8 serves. If you think about a business, they might be running 20, 30, 40 simultaneous voice and video connections over these lines, and that's very different from the home use case. And even though our larger mid-market customers tend to be building out some of their own private networks, even they are faced with the fact that they have to use the public internet to reach remote branch offices, reach their home employees and people working abroad. And so if you look at how businesses use the internet to compete today, it's vital and it needs to be taken into account in this rulemaking proceeding.
How would the FCC's proposed net neutrality rules impact 8x8 as a company and your business customers?
So even in the worst case scenario coming out of this proceeding, assuming we get paid prioritization and toll road access to the internet, this is going to have no impact on our business. The IP transits networks that we operate in order to run our networks are not even in scope of this proceeding. And even if those costs, frankly, were to double or triple, it would be no impact to our financials whatsoever. I think where things hit home is at the bottom of our customers' bills. And I think if you get some of these worst case scenarios coming out of this, just like we've had the last 5 or 6 years with regulation of voice over IP, what you're going to see is the in costs to the customer for these services they're buying today just go up. And to me, that's the most frustrating thing about this as we continue to see our customers' bills impacted by this type of regulation. I don't think it's a coincidence that Netflix just announced that they're raising their price by $1 per month. And I think you're going to see more of that as this proceeding goes forward and the rules that come out of it start impacting these businesses.
So in the end, where do you see this issue going from here?
So here's what I heard coming out of the May 15th meeting. I heard a bunch of lawyers sitting around trying to define lawyerly terms. And I think Commissioner Pai said it best when he said, you know, what we're really trying to do here is set some form of minimum level of access, which isn't specified anywhere, without too much discrimination, just the right amount of discrimination of traffic. And also potentially allow for things like paid prioritization under certain unspecified circumstances. All of that sounds like a bunch of lawyers in a room, and I think it's going to end up a big mess. More troubling to me was in Commissioner Clyburn's statement where she came out and said, you know, one good thing, she was part of the commission back in 2010 when the set of principles that were overturned in the Verizon lawsuit earlier this year were set. And she said, you know, one good thing about the court overturning those principles is back in 2010, we didn't know that everyone would be using so much Wi-Fi and that broadband speeds to the home would go up so much, and that everyone would have these LTE smartphones and be using them everywhere. So isn't this a great opportunity for us to do the rules over and actually get them right this time? Is she kidding us? Does she really think in 4 more years the world of technology won't be vastly different and unimagined from what it is today? So to me, that's what's so frustrating about what this commission and its leadership is trying to do. They need to look to a framework approach, not look to these lawyer regulations and rules that they really don't understand. And it's impossible for these regulators to regulate innovation. Innovation is about doing things better and doing these things differently. But it is very possible for regulators to put frameworks in place that encourage and foster innovation. And that's what I think this FCC should be doing.